Alright, picking up where we left off. Again, I'm leaving my face out of this one just so we can see our components and properties better. Go back to my projects, go to start new project, and go to translate. That's what we're going to call this one, is translate. Okay, wow, I was like, whoa, it loaded texting app. Okay, so translate. So we're going to change screen 1 to say translate for the title. But now I want to teach you something else here. We really don't need to do that in this first screen because we're going to make something in this one called a splash screen. If you don't know what a splash screen is, a splash screen is a screen that loads when you first touch an app, and it's like that graphical screen that loads for maybe 2 or 3 seconds before the actual app loads. That's a splash screen. I'm going to teach you a real easy way to make one, but it's not something we've done before, so you're going to have to just kind of pay attention and see. It's not complicated, but if you miss a step, it won't work. So the first thing we want to do is go down here to sensors, and we want to go to clock. We want to drag that over. Now over here, we want it to always fire, and we want it to be enabled. Okay, so leave those two checked. Now the seconds over here go by 1,000. So I want it to load for 5 seconds, will be 5,000. 4 seconds will be 4,000, 3,000, so on and so forth. So set it for 5,000. Now, what else I'm going to do here is I'm going to go back to screen 1. I'm going to set the background image for screen 1. This is something we haven't done either, set a background image yet. I'm going to go here, go into my pics, and I have a translate graphic that I did. I just threw that together in Microsoft Paint. I know it's so beautiful, right? Not really. It took me about all but 2 minutes. But what I want to show you here is, because we're making this splash screen, I don't want this there, because I don't want that to be, because that's for when you're using the app. The splash screen is just like, okay, we're loading the app. So we're actually going to take away the visibility of the title. We're going to make it invisible. Okay, so now they won't actually see that. You'll still see it. And if it was something that was hidden, I could do it that way, but they don't actually hide the title bar here. If it was hidden, you could still display it by display hidden components in viewer, but they don't hide it. But when you actually run the app, you won't see it. So essentially what I'm doing here is I want this to load for 5 seconds, then I want it to not be there anymore. One of the quickest ways and easiest ways we can do this is to add a screen. So the next screen will be translate. Click OK. Now we're going to build this screen. You'll see what happens when we get into doing the blocks in the next video, but basically this is going to load for 5 and then it's going to load this screen. And then of course this is going to be the translate screen. So there is something in App Inventor 2 here called Yandex Translate. It's actually also something that's on the web that you can use on the web, but they have it built into App Inventor 2, which is fantastic. It wasn't in the original App Inventor, so I really like it. You drag it over here, you just let it go. It's another invisible component. You can't see it, but it works in the background, and you can't set any properties for it. That's all set in the blocks editor. So let's go back to our user interface. We're going to want to make a label here, and we're going to want to say text to be translated. Okay, then we're going to do a text box here, and this one we're going to do kind of like we did with the texting app. We're going to make the width fill parent. We're going to make the height 100, and then I'm going to make it multi-line. I'm going to rename this one to text box get text. Then I'm going to put another label over here. That label is going to say translated text. I'm going to put a text box right below that, and we're going to do the exact same thing with width, and then height's going to be 100. Now we're going to do the hint for text box 1 is going to say nothing, because we're going to rename, it's not going to be text box 1 anymore, but that's going to be where the translated text go. We don't want anything in there. We're going to make this one text box translated. But this one we can put for the hint, enter text, oops, if I can spell, to be translated. Okay. So that being said, you're going to have text here that is going to be text that you're going to type in, and it'll be translated when you hit a submit button. And that translated text will show up here. So if I go to button and drag it over, I can hit submit. Oh, I'm sorry, I can change the text to submit. I'm going to make it bold. I just like how it looks bold. So if I hit submit, then what will happen is the text that's up here will be translated down into this box right here. So if I go to, let me rename that just so I have it organized, button submit, okay. Now, if I go over here to the properties, you notice something else where you can add pictures and things. You can do that with these buttons. If you want to have a picture button in these, like if you wanted to design something in Photoshop or in GIMP or something and make an image, you can do that. And that looks pretty cool. And it would also look really cool in the last app we did with the web browser. But for the sake of time, and because I'm about as useless at graphic design as you can get, and they would probably look worse than just doing this, I just keep the regular buttons. Okay, but that's all you need to do so far for this app. This is the user interface. This is the splash screen. Okay, so in the next video, we're going to do the blocks. We're going to put this all together. I'll see you there.